Episode 6 of Task delivered a gut-wrenching hour of television that left viewers reeling. Two of the show's most tragic deaths unfolded in devastating fashion, each shocking, emotional, and deeply consequential. According to star Mark Ruffalo and series creator Brad Inglesby, these horrible losses weren't simply there to shock audiences. They were designed to unravel guilt, betrayal, and redemption at the very core of the story. A bloody turning point. From the first moments of Episode 6, the tension that's been brewing all season erupts. The episode opens in the woods, where an ambush between Tom Brandis's task force and the Dark Hearts gang spirals into chaos. What begins as a standard sting operation quickly becomes a nightmarish tangle of gunfire, miscommunication, and moral collapse. By the end, two major characters, Lizzie and Robbie Prendergast, are gone, and no one is left untouched. Mark Ruffalo, who plays Tom, said filming the episode broke everyone's hearts on set. Writer Brad Inglesby called it the story's emotional earthquake, explaining that both deaths were necessary for the truth to finally break through. These aren't random deaths, Inglesby said. They're the consequences of every lie, every secret, every bad decision that's come before. Death number 1. Lizzie's final moments. Lizzie, played by Alison Oliver, has been one of the series' most earnest and determined agents. Fierce, loyal, and occasionally reckless, she's served as the emotional anchor for several team members, especially Anthony Grasso, the undercover officer secretly working both sides. Her death is sudden and brutal. During the operation in the woods, chaos reigns. Gunfire echoes through the trees. Grasso, attempting to cover the task force, fires too close to Lizzie. The sound leaves her momentarily deafened, her ears ringing so violently that she loses her bearings. She stumbles through the brush, unable to hear incoming calls over her radio. Moments later, as the gang members flee in a stolen car, Lizzie steps onto the path, unaware of what's coming. The car slams into her. It happens so fast that no one, not even Grasso, can stop it. Lizzie's body crumples to the ground as the vehicle speeds away into the night. Ruffalo described watching the scene on playback as soul-crushing, while Inglesby said it was meant to hit like real life, messy, unfair, and irreversible. It's one of those things where you think, this can't be how she goes out, Inglesby admitted. But that's the point. It's not clean. It's not cinematic. It's chaos. The weight of guilt. What makes Lizzie's death so tragic is that it isn't just random violence, it's the direct result of betrayal and guilt. Grasso's secret dealings with the Dark Hearts gang set the whole disaster in motion. In letting Jason and Perry escape earlier, he unknowingly seals Lizzie's fate. The same men he spared are the ones driving that car. Brad Inglesby called it a collapse of control. Grasso thought he could juggle it all, his double life, his love for Lizzie, his loyalty to both sides. But when Lizzie dies, that illusion is shattered. He caused it, and now he has to live with that. In the aftermath, Grasso is wrecked. He can't look anyone in the eye. Tom and Aaliyah try to console him, but the guilt is overwhelming. Lizzie's blood isn't just on his hands, it's in the lies he told, the trust he broke, and the choices he refused to face. Ruffalo said the scene was one of the most difficult to film emotionally. You could feel the grief in the air, he recalled. It's not just a teammate dying. It's someone everyone believed in. And it happens in the ugliest, most avoidable way. Death number 2. Robbie's tragic end. If Lizzie's death was chaos, Robbie's is a slow tragedy, a violent culmination of pain, revenge, and reckoning. Played with haunted intensity by Tom Pelphrey, Robbie has been walking the moral tightrope all season. He's a man driven by loss and desperation, torn between doing right by his family and giving in to rage. His feud with Jason, the man responsible for his brother's death, has been building since episode 1. By episode 6, the confrontation is inevitable. The final fight. In the episode's climactic sequence, Robbie and Jason face off deep in the woods. Both are battered, bloodied, and consumed by vengeance. Their gunfire rattles the night air before devolving into a raw, physical struggle. It's a fight not just for survival, but for something that's been festering inside both men. When Jason drives a knife into Robbie's chest, time seems to stop. Robbie gasps, his body trembling as the realization of death sinks in. Jason flees, leaving him bleeding in the mud. Tom Brandis arrives just in time to cradle Robbie as he slips away. The scene is painfully intimate. There are no sirens, no backup, just two broken men in a car, trying to hold on to the last shred of humanity. Ruffalo said it was one of the hardest scenes he's ever filmed. It felt like performing last rites, he explained. Tom's a man who's spent his life chasing justice, but in that moment, he realizes what he really wants is mercy. He sees Robbie as a soul in pain, not a criminal. Empathy and redemption. Ruffalo's interpretation of the moment gives the scene its soul. Tom sees himself in Robbie, he said. He sees a good man who made bad choices under impossible circumstances. There's no judgment left, only compassion. As Robbie dies in Tom's arms, there's a sense of peace that cuts through the brutality. It's as though Tom, a former priest turned agent, performs a silent confession. In those last seconds, Ruffalo said, Tom forgives him. And in doing that, maybe forgives a part of himself. Brad Inglesby agreed, saying the scene was never about justice, it was about understanding. Robbie's story ends not with punishment, but with recognition of his humanity. He dies trying to protect what's left of his family, ensuring that the money he risked everything for reaches his niece Maeve. It's his one act of redemption in a life defined by regret. 2 deaths, 1 message. The dual tragedies of Lizzie and Robbie aren't isolated events, they mirror each other. Both deaths expose the moral rot underneath every character's actions and bring the story's themes full circle. Lizzie's death shows how lies and betrayal destroy innocence. Robbie's death shows how guilt and revenge consume the soul. Together, they form the emotional and moral breaking point of Task. Ruffalo said both scenes were horrible, not just because of the violence, but because of what they say about human nature. These aren't bad people doing evil things, they're people doing what they think is right, and it destroys them, he said. The ripple effect. The fallout from episode 6 is immense. Lizzie's death shatters the task force's unity. Aaliyah vows to expose whoever is leaking information. Grasso spirals into self-destruction, haunted by the fact that the woman he loved died because of his deception. Tom, meanwhile, carries the weight of both deaths. For him, it's no longer about winning or losing, it's about surviving with his conscience intact. The deaths force him to confront the line between duty and compassion, justice and forgiveness. Thematic resonance. At its core, Task has always been a story about guilt. Every major character carries it, some try to bury it, others let it consume them. Episode 6 crystallizes that idea. Guilt is both punishment and penance. Lizzie's death creates guilt that can't be erased. Robbie's death offers a glimpse of absolution, but at the ultimate cost. As Inglesby put it, every choice has blood on it. That's the world of Task. Ruffalo's reflection. For Ruffalo, the emotional weight of the episode lingers. He described filming Robbie's death as profoundly spiritual, comparing it to performing a ritual of grace amid violence. It's not about who's right or wrong, he said. It's about 2 men realizing they're the same, that their pain comes from the same place. He also praised Tom Pelphrey's performance. Tom brought so much humanity to Robbie. You can feel his desperation, his fear, his love for his family. When he dies, you feel every bit of that. Ruffalo said the experience reminded him why he took on the role. This show asks hard questions. What is justice? What is forgiveness? Can you ever wash away guilt? Episode 6 forces those questions right into your face. A prelude to the finale. By the episode's end, the world of Task is irreparably broken. Lizzie's death leaves the task force fractured and morally bankrupt. Robbie's death leaves Tom spiritually gutted but awakened. The final episode now looms as a reckoning, one that must confront the wreckage of everything these characters have done. As Ruffalo put it simply, after this, nothing's left to hide. The truth is out. Now it's about what that truth costs. A study in consequences. Episode 6 of Task stands out not for its shock value but for its emotional honesty. It refuses easy answers. Every death feels real, raw, unfair, and human. Both Ruffalo and Inglesby crafted these moments to make viewers sit with discomfort, to feel the ripple of loss in every character left behind. It's a story about how guilt reshapes you, Ruffalo said. Sometimes it breaks you, sometimes it saves you. But it never leaves you. Conclusion. The grisly 6th episode of Task doesn't just kill off 2 characters, it dismantles an entire moral structure. Lizzie's and Robbie's deaths expose the heart of the series. The cost of deceit, the weight of compassion, and the impossibility of escaping guilt. Mark Ruffalo summed it up best. These deaths are horrible because they're real. They're what happens when people try to play God in a world that's already lost its faith. As the series barrels toward its finale, one truth is clear: Task isn't just about crime or justice. It's about the souls crushed in between.